see it a couple times in theaters, and I would just play Jurassic Park, and it was like the perfect movie. And then as I got older, it never felt like I realized it was bad. Like it just stayed good, and it stayed nostalgic, but also like a great movie. And it feels like I was just really lucky to catch it at that age to appreciate it in such a way. But it also, I think it really holds up as like a classic blockbuster that really, people of all ages could enjoy, even though maybe, kids, young people enjoy it a little more. And it's just like it was such a big hit with audiences, and it's cool when that happens. And I feel like I actually agree that it was a great movie, like Spielberg at the top of his game, and special effects were cutting edge at the time with how they did the dinosaurs. It looked really good. It still looks
good. Oh yeah. Hold up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 93. And so I want to give credit to that movie, which I'm just I feel like I've loved it basically my whole life.
It is good. Great, I remember I watched it the first time. And I was actually impressed with it watching it the first time. I just thought I will say some of the scenes in there was kind of like, ooh, this kind of got a little gory. Like you find an arm, like if at one point the girl goes in a place and then she finds an arm.
Yeah, the arm falls out of the dark.
I'm like, man, these dinosaurs are pretty scary.
They're not messing. They don't mess around, do they? Yeah, the book scared the crap out of me, y'all. I was afraid of velociraptors. I was convinced there was one under my bed, and I was an adult when I read it. But I was scared. I was literally scared.
Maybe I wonder if that's where I got my anxiety from.
But it was, the book was wonderful, and it's a great adaptation, a great film adaptation. I agree. Yeah. That's a good choice.
Yeah, the book is great, and it's cool because there's some differences. It's not exactly the same, but
but it works.
It's almost like that Spielberg guy knows what he's doing.
He does.
Yeah, almost. Seems like most of the time he does.
It's funny because remember, I think we talked a while back on a podcast how that's the same year, like 2 movies of his came out, Jurassic Park and Schindler's List.
Yes.
Right.
2 totally different movies.
Completely
and I still haven't
seen
that movie, Schindler's List. I have the VHS for it, actually.
Surprises me, Arturo, as much as you love
I do want to watch it just to get kind of like... See, lately I've been wanting to watch some of those just to kind of get some ideas for stories set in that time.
Yeah.
I do need to watch it at some point.
I've had Schindler's List on DVD since the 90s. I've never watched it.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I was also going to say, as young as I was when I saw Jurassic Park, which was because it was one of the VHSs in my VHS tapes in my TV drawer. That's probably one of the earliest films that made me appreciate. And it's funny because I'm such a huge film score person, but that was one of the earliest films that made me feel something with its score. And it's like no matter how many times I hear it from then all the way to now, I still get that sense of euphoria. Rush. Like, you feel it. Yeah.
The warm fuzzies.
Did you ever see the Year of the Mad Night Dog of Jurassic Park?
What's that?
Did you ever see the Year of the Mad Night Dog of Jurassic Park?
The Year of the Mad what? I don't know.
It was a website, Year of the Mad Night Dog, and you would remix stuff.
Oh no!
So it was like, holy fucking shit! Fucking dinosaur! Holy shit!
Is that a John Williams song? I think.
I think isn't it John Williams?
Even Spielberg and John Williams like worked together a lot, along with George Lucas.
I want to say I thought it was.
It is John Williams, and that is great. Song.
He's made a lot of good, like, catchy music that still resonates with a lot of people. Harry Potter, he made the Harry Potter song.
His work is iconic, for sure.
It is.
I still listen to think about the Indiana Jones song. Dun, 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 dun. Star Wars.
Okay, it's I'm gonna reset the timer. It's Dee's turn now.
Okay, so I guess we're doing this in no particular order.
No, not for me. Okay. Colin
wants to do this
chronologically, but
okay. So for mine, I'm starting with number 5 and going all the way to number 1. So my film is Misery from 1990, directed by Rob Reiner, starring Kathy Bates and Paul Kane and Lauren Bacall. The reason I chose this is because I feel like Stephen King has like a plethora of Hey Shayna. He has like a plethora of stories and so many different and it ranges. Like you have stuff that's like hardcore horror, you have things that's sci-fi, you have things that inspirational, or even like Stand By Me, where it's about just kids and, having these childhood experiences. And there's so many different ways you can go with that. But what I like about Misery is that it is a film that does so much with so little. It takes place in one environment with these two people who are basically taking up the entire time. It's dialogue driven. And it really is relying on the performances of Kathy Bates and Paul Kane. And it is tense and it is uncomfortable, and the way things build and build and build, it's one of those films that scare you without having to do a whole lot. And what I like about the direction of it is that in the book, it's a little bit more of a gore fest because Annie at one point she cuts Paul, she cuts Paul, James Caan. I'm sorry if I was saying Paul Caan.
Yeah, you did. That's okay. I knew who you meant.
Yeah, sorry, James Gunn. But yeah, but Paul Sheldon is the name of the character. And at one point, I think when he doesn't want to type, she goes in and just cuts his thumb off. And then when, when the sheriff gets killed, she rides a lawnmower over him and his body just gets, like split apart and blood and guts everywhere. And I like that. Instead, they said, okay, let's take a very minimalistic approach to this. So instead you get, and I think she cuts in the original scene, she cuts one of his feet off and then blow torches the wound to cauterize it so it can't be put back, so it can't be sewn back together. So rather than do that, they said, okay, what's the most effective way to do this? And that's why we get that iconic hobbling scene where all you see is that block of wood and then she just swings and it just hits hard.
You feel
yes.
it too.
Exactly. And even like when he goes out of the room and he's trying to get back, they purposely film it to where like they make it to where it's like they stretch, like the way they prolong the scenes and the way they like structure everything, it just adds to the intensity of what's going on. And even when we get to the very, very end, I like how even the ending, even though it's a happy ending, it's the fact that he still knows that for the rest of his life, she is someone who is always going to live on because of the experience that he's had. Right. And, he's now been shaped by that experience. It's just a really solid film. And I think it's the right balance when it comes to Stephen King's films.
He's got the permanent reminder of her.
Yes.
Like, let's say, she has left behind these signs on his body that he will never be able to forget. Mm-hmm. Not just what's going on in his head, but every day that he sees himself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, yeah, like the waitress, like, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, he's like, thank you.
That was a really good movie, and her Oscar was well deserved.
Yes.
Yeah, she was wicked.
She was something else. Yeah.
And it was crazy for me because, my introduction to Kathy Bates was as Molly Brown in Titanic. And then shortly afterwards, I saw her in this. I was like, oh gosh, like it was so shocking.
First, I think I saw Misery first,
right?
And then I saw her in Titanic.
Wait, so I was gonna ask how old you were if you saw her shortly after Titanic. Were you like 10?
Yeah, that's like around that age. Yeah, around 10.
Because I saw this Misery when I was like 10 or 11, and I was still at the age where I was very sensitive and scared by horror.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I remember this movie, like, I don't know if I might have even seen it on like USA and they cut out some of the gore, but just like
still
the suggestion of it was enough.
Exactly.
It really
still traumatic.
It was very scary to me at that age, and it was very effective.
Yeah. Cool. All right, that's a great pick, D.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Round 2. Here we go. All right.
Let's go.
Can you remove the comment, Arturo, and I'll go ahead and post mine up.
Yeah.
So this one surprises me because this is not typically my type of story at all. But if it's included in here, it really made an impact on me, and I was super impressed. And that's the movie Searching.
Oh.
I thought that was extremely well done, and I am not a fan. I have made no secret of the fact that this is not my type of film, at all. But they were able to construct it in such a way that really pulled you in, and it felt truly realistic. Like it was, the acting was just magnificent. I felt like some of that was lost in the other one. Was it Missing? The one
Missing, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of. That one's a little shaky to me.
Yeah.
But
same.
Searching was just like perfection because it was able to tell you a lot about the characters and the story without specifically telling you. It was the perfect sort of show don't tell type of thing that is kind of, like number one sort of advice for writers and storytellers in general. Don't handhold, don't tell. You were able to know exactly what was going on without them coming out and saying, oh, the wife died of cancer and the girl is dealing with some stuff because she has, they just show you this and you get it completely. And they pull you into this story. There's all this emotion. There's this drama. There was great pacing. They also have some really interesting and funny Easter eggs hidden within that are kind of like, it's a whole big thing, but it was really funny because I was watching a video that was talking about all these different Easter eggs and just the meticulous way they put all this together. Super impressive, and I love that movie from the moment I saw it, and it surprised the heck out of me because, like I said, this is not my genre. Not at all. But it was done so well that I felt like it was perfect. I can't think of anything wrong with it. So that's why it ended up on my list.
Cool.
So there's that.
Not seen that. It doesn't seem like a movie I would like watching, though. If it's like a serious drama with sad story subject matter.
It is sad story subject matter because like the family has lost the mother/wife. And you see this relationship between the father and daughter through like webcam footage, because that's how the story is told, like phone and webcam stuff or something like that.
Okay.
And you can tell she's kind of hiding stuff from him. She's still not quite over it. And then she goes missing. And the whole rest of the movie is him searching for her and the way he's trying to find her, his online searches, his online conversations, news reports that it shows. It was put together really well. All the clues that were left for you in the very beginning that tells you basically what's really up. Like once you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, I see what you did there, but I didn't catch it the first time. So really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember seeing the trailer. I don't know if I was watching. I think I went to go see Crazy Rich Asians with my mom, and they had that as one of the trailers. I remember thinking like the entire film is on like a camera or on screen with a laptop.
What?
And I just like, how is it possible for that to work? But I'm a moviegoer, so sometimes even when something looks like I don't know, I'll still like just check it out and maybe just see. And I agree. Number one, I didn't know that there was a genre called screen life. And apparently that's what it is when it takes place like on some kind of technological device, and it's like based through that. But like the way that they're able to tell the story through pictures, through media, through webcams, through the way like you continue on and you're still going on the journey, even though it's not like a camera and we're seeing like all these big locations and things like that. And it gets very dark, it gets very tense, it gets sad. Like there are so many different layers to it. And even when you kind of think you know where it might be going, it still kind of throws you for a loop. And and I can't imagine. I mean, it's hard enough trying to make a film, but still, you had to be very intricate, even with this structure, as far as what they did. And I think they did a great job.
Yeah. All of the films on my list are something that are very technologically interesting, the way they were done and put together. And there's my time. Okay.
Colin's whole life is a screen life murder mystery.
Here we come back to that. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you.
The perfect movie Cats.
Of course.
Get out.
Yes, Mike is just bitter because he was forced to watch that recently, and he's not happy about it. So
I feel for you.
That's your fault.
My friend pressure.
my friend tried to get me to watch that movie, and of course, he never won.
Yeah, Arturo refuses to cave, and I don't blame him. Hold strong, Arturo. Hold strong.
Yeah. I went to go see it as a favor with my friend, and my body does what it usually does when it's trying to rescue me from a horrible movie experience. And it said, "Hey, just go to sleep." And so,
good. So you didn't have to suffer.
Right.
Okay, Arturo, I'm ready for yours.
Okay. Probably this one. It would be Tom Cruise's. Probably one of his pretty cool roles, and that's probably Collateral.
Oh, okay.
Collateral.
Yes.
Yeah. I just like the I don't know, like him being a hitman, a badass hitman, but he's also bad. But then he also has another type of characteristic about him.
Mm-hmm.
Going with the guy, the taxi guy, like to go with him to the hospital because of his mom. And then of course that club scene with the Ready Steady Go song. That whole scene was really cool.
Scene.
The whole
That's
shooting and Tom Cruise just being brutal when he kills people.
And
just driving around with the taxi, and you wonder like what the heck's going on.
And what's going to happen? Like, you almost get a little bit fooled by Tom Cruise. You almost feel like you see a little bit of humanity every once in a while in him.
Yeah.
And then he goes and just like pulls the rug out from under you and does something absolutely slimy.
He's probably tooth-faced at this point.
Yeah. He's not he's just, well.
And Jamie Foxx's character is just thrown into this situation. Like, what the heck? And then, like, especially the club scene, he's like, "Look, I'm just a taxi driver."
And
then that song's going.
That's a great song. But what happens to the police officer took me by surprise completely.
Oh yeah. Bam, bam, bam.
Was not expecting that.
That was a cool twist. Well, a sad twist.
Sad twist, but
because
really,
like,
really
he was the only cop that like knew something wasn't quite fitting.
Right. I was trying to help Jamie.
Yeah.
I think that like compared to like what was that other movie of Tom Cruise?
There's so many.
Was it Evolution? No, not Evolution.
You
know what I'm talking about? Oblivion, like that, and then of course Top Gun Maverick. But this is like one of his really good roles. Is just
kind of
him playing a bad guy.
Character, yeah.
And it also felt a little realistic too. Like instead of crazy Hollywood stuff, you know, especially when he jumps on the train. I never felt like it had that much like crazy action Hollywood production stuff. It was balanced.
Yeah.
He had some.
He felt like the Terminator, though. I swear to goodness.
Yeah.
Like when he got on that train, it's like, good night. Is nothing going to kill this guy?
He will not stop until you are dead.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I like that movie.
That's one of my top Tom Cruise movies.
My favorite. The real lasting, lingering question from that movie, though, is which of the co-stars was Jada Pinkett Smith banging?
Who the heck knows?
Yikes!
I still think my favorite.
Oh my gosh, it is hard to watch that with her in there, but the movie is so good though.
Yeah. But I still say the best scene in the entire movie is just the club scene. That's the best.
Never forgot that song. I love that song. Yeah,
it's the Korean version, but even the Korean version is pretty.
It's really good.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right, nice. Cool. Okay, I'm going to. Yeah, I guess if we're done with that, some of these we're ending up a little bit ahead of time, so we're moving along really
good. Like Palpatine was said, good, unlimited power.
Simon's turn, and I'm ready to type in yours, Simon, whenever you're ready to let us know.
Okay. There are two themes in the movies I picked, I've noticed. And the next two I'm going to mention have a theme of acceptance.
Okay.
The others start with R. That's the other thing. But Arrival. I love Arrival. It's just, oh my gosh. There's sort of, there are three movies that just kind of make the world kind of twist for me. And that's Unusual Suspects, Fight Club, and the best one was Arrival. Just everything about it is just so perfect. Like the design of the creatures and the ship and everything, and the sound design, not just of the creatures, but like the whole fucking thing. There were mistakes. Like there was a scene where Louise has a vision of one of the aliens in her room, and that's actually it was a misused take of her with talking to Jeremy Renner, but they were able to find a way to like work it in and make it work, and it just worked so perfectly. And it's just, I love Arrival. Everything about it.
It's a good
movie.
I knew
you were going to say that one. That was the one.
My favorite movie of all time. So
I knew that was the one movie. Yeah, it is really. I was gonna. I'm sorry, Sid. You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I've only seen it once, and I remember I was a little confused at first as to what was going on in the narrative, and then of course by the end you get exactly what's happening, and it really hits you so much more.
Yeah.
So that's something that Arturo hasn't seen yet. So I haven't told him anything about how it goes, in the hopes that maybe one day he will watch it. I can't say it's up there my top, but yeah, I do recognize that it's a very well done movie. It's very slow paced. It's not actiony. It's about aliens, but there's no sci-fi fighting. There's no sort of
it's a first contact movie.
Yeah.
Well, what I like about that, what I was going to add is that they almost show you glimpses of that kind of like almost not Independence Day, I shouldn't say, because not aliens attacking, but there's like
exactly, it subverts your expectations.
Yes,
but it does it well.
Yes,
there's like clips on the news of like riots and fighting and chaos in the world, but it's like no, that's boring compared to what's going on actually in this other story that they're telling. So it does, subverts your because it's kind of showing like that cheap Hollywood action and alien movie. It's happening in the background. You don't even see it.
It uses the language of film against the audience.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was able to put in some applause.
Oh, did you find some? I didn't hear it though. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say really quickly that Arrival is one of those that definitely, I mean, like there are some films that don't necessarily require repeat viewings, but Arrival is one of those where definitely it hits so much differently when you watch it again, because especially the opening scene where you see her experience with her daughter, and then she says something to akin to basically how her idea of time is not, is not what you would think, and we think of time this way, and it's not quite. And then so when we get to the end, and we find out that what we're seeing at the beginning is actually, I just thought it was very so clever, and then just so well, at least for me, well paced, and just the way it drew you into the story, and understanding what gift she was being given and what that would basically mean for the future, and just the way that was unfolded. I loved it.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Who directed that? Was that
Denis Villeneuve?
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't 100%.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. I think I have actually learned how to say his name. Denis Villeneuve, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have finally learned. I can do it every once in a while. Okay. All right. Good one. I'm liking all of these so far. Every single one of them, I'm liking them.
Yep.
Okay,
now,
Colin.
on to Colin. Let's
Ready
go.
For yours?
All right. So I'm going to spend. Oh, Simon's not here, but I'm still only going to spend 20 seconds to mention.
Avatar. I know it.
I think I know what it's going to be. I think I know what it is.
This is just the spot Avatar would have been, but it's not. It's not Avatar.
Oh, it's not Avatar. Okay.
It's Avatar 2.
No.
I need to edit it. Okay.
This is the movie I added last.
Okay.
And even though it came out in 1999, so chronologically, I'm going to mention another big blockbuster. Not all of them are. The Matrix.
Oh, The Matrix.
Yep, I figured. Yep.
All right. Okay.
I just think it's perfect in that it nailed it. It was really original and creative. It influenced its story on a deep level. Its story was great and actually hit the culture and impacted the culture. And on a shallow aesthetic level, it was amazing and changed and impacted the culture. On both sides, it combined to deliver an amazing movie. It's like what you want from a movie is to just surprise you and nail it on like every level. It's so good that people like are influenced by it and are still talking it. But that's almost like icing on the cake. That's like validation for how good it is, because the movie is just so cool. It's just so stylistic and just so cool to look at. The great action, but it also has a really great and original story that is like memorable, and it's just it's just such a great. It just feels like it stands above so many movies. So many movies, wish they could be The Matrix. I just think it's so cool and a great story. And I guess I'm gonna repeat myself, but basically I was 14 when it came out, and I remember it was the year Phantom Menace came out, and all this hype for the return of Star Wars. And I felt like Matrix was kind of like the modern day Star Wars, where it kind of blew everyone away with this story and visual style that no one was expecting.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It was
definitely
different.
Groundbreaking. Yeah.
I still think my favorite scene in that movie was probably when they're going into the building and they're having that shootout with the armored guards.
Is that
scene I watched a lot. Yeah.
Final action scene. where the columns get all shot up by the
yeah.
Congress Bad Fur Day did a reference to that. Like that game is like only references to like Hollywood movies, like Saving Private Ryan and The Matrix, and that's one of the scenes they copied was the whole lobby shootout scene.
Yeah,
it was definitely pretty revolutionary for sure. I remember my brothers went to go see it on the big screen, and they absolutely loved it. I never saw it on the big screen. I wish I had. It's not my favorite film, and definitely there are some. You can see some weaknesses in some of the VFX, but
well, yeah. But to be honest, I was impressed still, even watching it like years later. Like it's like Jurassic Park. It still looked good.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just got a lot of really stylistic shots.
And the black trench coat, super cool.
Is that what helped inspire Equilibrium, though? Because Equilibrium.
Was that? Wait, you mean the Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're just thinking because of the look.
Came out around a similar time.
Equilibrium came out a few years later, in the early 2000s.
Early, okay.
Like 2002 or 3 or something like that, or 4. Okay,
yeah,
2002.
I bet Matrix helped Equilibrium get made.
Probably was some influence there.
Yeah.
Just different.
Nice. Okay. Good one.
Now it is Dee's turn.
Dee's turn.
Dee, you have the floor.
Okay. This was I guess there's so many to choose from, but I had to go with Who Framed Roger Rabbit by Robert Zemeckis.
Wow. Roger Rabbit.
There's a lot of love and appreciation I have for this film. It's one of those films that I say this all the time, but when I think about like streaming exclusives and things like that, I realized that when I was younger, there were certain exclusive films that were exclusive to my grandparents' house. So like there are films I would watch, whenever I went to my grandmother's house on my dad's side, grandmother's house on my mom's side, at my house, and it would always kind of be its own thing. And I know part of my excitement to go was that I could go there and watch that, and that was the one exclusive place where I could always watch those films. And so with my one grandmother's place, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, she was the only person who had that film, and so I would always watch it. And what I love about it is that I think that was, and there's so many, because I am the period piece, aficionado.
Oh yes, you love your period pieces.
Yes, but that is probably one of the earliest, really, really early on that made me appreciate, not just 1940s, but kind of like the noir, and in the way, of course, I think it was the right age for me to appreciate, of course, the blending of animation, which still is unprecedented to this day because of the fact that there was a collaboration between the Walt Disney Company and Warner Brothers, and so we literally saw like Donald Duck and Daffy Duck and Betty Boop and like all these characters interacting in this same world. And there's this greater mystery and conspiracy, like all these things that are going on, and it has this very kind of dark noir edge to it, but it also is dealing with, the Hollywood industry and just so many different elements. And then even though I enjoyed it, it still was a lot seeing Christopher Lloyd as Judge Doom. That was probably one of the more, he was compelling but disturbing at the same time, because I still will never forget that scene with the shoes and the acid and all that. And
it was disturbing. Yes,
very. So I just feel like they balanced so many different elements, but they did it in a way that I just think came together seamlessly. Like it struck the right balance of funny, dark, humorous, violent, intense, like all of that. And like I said, just the way that they incorporated animation as a whole, because I doubt the hoops and chutes and ladders that people would have to jump through to get just that piece allowed today. I can't imagine. So
different time.
That was when kids' movies were cool.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, when they didn't coddle kids back in the day.
Exactly.
And they were introduced to all sorts of dark themes through the lens of a kids' movie, and they were pretty dark.
And at the same time, it was like kind of a period piece, but you felt like you were back in the day, like living in the old. I don't know, what was it, like the 30s?
Wasn't it the 20s or 30s?
Yeah, like 30s or 40s. Like that, yeah.
Okay.
And it had the actor from Back to the Future.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd. That's what he was. That's what he was mentioning.
Lloyd.
The guy who played Raoul, the guy at the start with Baby Herman, and he's like, Roger, read the script. That was the producer, Joel Silver.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't remember that.
Oh hey Anthony, what's going on, man?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fever Dream.
Yeah. See, I was just slightly past the theater age, but so it was grandma's home for me. But I'm telling you, if they ever do like a re-release, I will definitely go to the theater to go see that one.
Hey Elliot.
Hey.
Merry Christmas to you. Good to see you
Merry
here.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, he has a really cool. He and Mrs. IMO did a really cool Grinch-inspired tree. So you'll have to ask him to, or I don't know where he's posted that, but it's really cool.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out.
I only saw a bit of that movie once on Cartoon Network. Didn't watch the whole thing. I remember it looking kind of weird, especially the girl. They made her really sexual.
Jessica Rabbit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did.
I'm like,
I never have actually seen the movie all the way through. I don't think.
Oh, really?
But
okay.
I remember it when it came out, and one of my high school friends was obsessed with it. She used to like to quote him all the time because how much he was in love with his wife and everything. I don't know. I just found the whole idea of this rabbit and the cartoon woman. I'm like, what? That's just so weird.
Right.
But anyway, I could tell the bits and pieces I did see of it looked really impressive. The way they mixed it. It reminded me a lot of that Paula Abdul music video.
Right.
Opposites Attract.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that they mixed live action with cartoon.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, D?
Oh no, I was gonna say, and even when they did it with Space Jam, I was like, oh okay. But I was already, I mean, which is still fun in its own way, especially with the Looney Tunes and all that. But like I said, that kind of set the tone for me. It was kind of a different experience. But yeah, the blending of the two, also the fact that also understanding more about the hoops you have to go through to make animation and live action to work together. Also, I think they need a lot of kudos for that too.
Right. Yeah. The technical stuff for sure. All right. Good one. Okay. All right. My next one sort of.
All right, Sin, let's go.
It's sort of tight. Oh, and I just want to say to the audience, we're not interacting a ton with you guys. It's not because we're ignoring you because we don't want to talk to you. It's just because we're trying to move through these. If we have any time at the end, obviously we can do some more of that. But we're compressing this discussion down to like 2
because the host of the show has to go to work.
One of the hosts has to go to work. He has to be at work by 6:15, and he has to have enough time to get there. So
you got about 4 minutes of movies.
Yeah, we are intentionally not responding, but we're not ignoring you. We see what you're saying. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we're reading all the comments. Don't worry.
All right, so mine kind of ties in a bit with what I was saying about children's movies back in the day, like the 80s especially. They didn't really shelter kids too much. Ooh. And I have loved this movie ever since I saw it. It might surprise you, but maybe not. It is The Secret of
Yes, I knew it. I knew it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I always loved this movie. So back in the day when it came out in 82, so I've made no secret of the fact that I grew up without a TV. And I wasn't taken to movies very often. Now, sometimes my mom and dad would go to the movies in the 70s and bring me along because there was no babysitter. So I was exposed to some very inappropriate stuff.
Like Michael Myers.
Stuff I remember. Anyway, whatever. But The Secret of NIMH, when it came out, I was so fascinated by the artwork. It looked so fantastical and just beautiful and enchanting and mysterious and just so interesting. But it wasn't until we moved into the place where we live now, and back at my mom and dad's house, and we rented this film from the library, and it was on reels, and we put it on a projector and blasted it up on the wall. That was how I first saw it, and I loved it. The voice acting is absolutely amazing in there. The score is amazing. The animation is beautiful. I love it. And just the ambiance in the different scenes, and the pacing is just right. It's not very long. It's less than an hour and a half, I think. But the comedy, like Dom DeLuise was the great sort of, the comedic sort of give you that levity, because it was actually a very serious and dark and sad film.
Yes.
Her son is sick. She can't move the house, and the farmer's going to plow his land or whatever, and it's going to destroy her house, and she can't move because her son is sick. So she needs the rats to help her, and the rats were the product of this experiment at NIMH. And so they devised a plan to help her, but within the rats' kingdom, there's also some devious stuff going on with some of the bad ones, and it just kind of all comes together in this beautiful conclusion at the end. And I absolutely adore this movie, and I have loved it ever since. It is actually in my top 10.
That's awesome.
Favorite films of all time.
Is that what inspired you to get rats as pets?
No.
It would make sense though. Yeah.
No, at the time I didn't love pet rats because hey, how you doing? At the time I wasn't into rats, but I always loved the movie. I mean, I didn't start to get into rats till we got them in like what?
But now you appreciate the fact.
Yeah. Man, anyway, it's just an absolutely lovely movie. If no one here has seen it yet, please watch it. It's animated. Don Bluth. It was Don Bluth's, I think, first film that he made when he broke with Disney.
And we did see him.
We got to see him. He was talking about the secret of NIMH. It was so much fun. That was like one of my favorite panels there. It was wonderful.
He even talked about when he first ran into
Walt Disney. Yeah, literally ran into him pretty much. And it was just such a lovely movie. And the voice actor, sadly, she expired herself a few years after the movie. Very sad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I learned about that early on. But so it's kind of sad, when you listen to it, it's like, wow, she had obviously some terrible sadnesses in her life, and sadnesses, that's not even a word. Whatever. You guys know what I mean?
You could put that in the whole
it's sort of it kind of say what?
It's from the Greek sadnessai.
That. She had that. But it sort of helps give it more meaning, when I watch it. So yeah, just a beautiful film, warm fuzzies every time I think about it.
Yeah, and I think things like that only add to my appreciation of films like that, because unfortunately we would like to think so, but not everyone who makes films like these, their lives don't always reflect the happiness and the joy that they allow people to feel through that. Right. So that can be such a catch-22 sometimes, but it just kind of adds for me to the gratitude of being able to have those experiences and, and think about those things and just, and grow up and have films, like, even if it's just in the sense of animation or whatever else it is. I'm always grateful for the people who have just contributed to that, because those are memories that always stick with you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, I was going to say.
That's mine.
I was just going to say real quick, we had Secret of NIMH on the VHS when I was 6, 7 years old, and we watched it. That was one that I watched over and over again.
Oh yeah, same. I even watched it in reverse because I could flip it and go. That was it. Like when I was really obsessed with the movie, that's what I did. I did that with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as well.
And you didn't have YouTube or anything. That's all all you would do. Is
that was my entertainment. Okay, I'm past time. So
I'm definitely in the mood. I'm gonna get it on that streaming site and rewatch it.
Oh yes, watch it. It's a lovely movie, absolutely lovely. All right, Arturo, your turn.
So this is actually a recent movie that I just watched. It's gonna be about a decade old pretty soon.
Okay.
But I just thought it was well done, and it's Sicario.
Oh,
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I just like the feel of the movie, especially in that one scene when they're going across the border.
Oh, that scene on the roadway, yeah.
And then you have a bit of corrupt cops, ending up trying to help the cartels.
Yeah, very realistic, for sure.
And then you got your girl Emily Blunt.
Yes, Emily.
Yes,
but also
got a little crush on Emily.
What's his name? Del Toro.
Yeah,
he's really good in that. It's even got the guy from Nope in it, and the guy from The Walking Dead. Even Thanos, the actor that does Thanos.
Brolin.
Yeah.
Brolin.
I liked the music tone in it too. Was
very unsettling.
Because that's the whole issue going on down there with the cartels.
Uneasy, yeah.
And but also it's unfortunate because I actually have a big family down there, and just the fact that it's so dangerous to go down there when you don't know will a cartel stop you? Because I've seen videos of cartels literally try to stop people to rob them. So this movie depicts not just that, but even also CIA corruption in that too. So it shows both sides of things that are just messed up.
Right.
And Emily Blunt's character's what the hell?
Yeah.
Such a messed up world.
Mm-hmm.
But and then of course the Del Toro's character is both anti-hero-ish, doing a lot of things.
Yeah. He's complex. He's an interesting character.
He is complex, yes.
Yeah. That end scene is intense.
But that's been lately
Absolutely.
one of my favorite like modern movies as of late.
Yeah, it is a good another Denis Villeneuve movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I wish he had done the second one.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the second one. It doesn't have the punch.
It's not as good as the first one. The first one, there was just something about it. Like it had a lot of chemistry between some of the characters, and then you get into like the really messed up shit.
Yeah, a lot of it.
But of course, that opening scene, well, not opening, but like just the whole traffic scene, I thought was really well done.
Oops, sorry.
Didn't
do that.
But yeah, that's my pick.
That's a good pick.
It is a good pick. All of these are good picks.
I think so.
I'm loving this.
Okay. So far, I've seen all but searching. So far, I've seen all but searching.
All but searching. Okay, well maybe you can check out Searching. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Okay.
Me.
Yeah, he does. Benicio's great. I mean, I watched Reptile, and that's not the best
Reptile great
movie, but
Reptile great.
He was fine.
Almost watchable.
Even though I know them seeing you is somewhere totally different, even his appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy, I love that. The Collector, I still want to dress up as that character.
That like wacky character.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great. I never forgot. The very first time I ever saw him was when I watched a made-for-TV movie called The Kiki Camarena Story, and he played Carlo Quintero, the drug guy, whatever. That was the first time I ever saw him, and he was just like so intensely wicked looking to me because he looks fierce and mean and scary.
Yes,
and he's always got that. He's always had that intensity about him.
Yeah, you could always say that he could play like this very edgy character.
Oh yeah,
you just give him like a black leather coat.
You don't want to mess with him. Don't mess with him. Have you guys seen that funny commercial? The funny, I think it might be a beer commercial where he's sitting in this bar and there's people outside the window like looking at him. They're like, oh, you know, and they're like saying they think he's Antonio Banderas, and it shows his face and he's like this, you know, is like not Antonio Banderas. And I'm thinking, how can they confuse the two? They don't even look a bit alike. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Okay.
Now it is Simon's turn.
Simon's turn.
I was just looking at Del Toro's filmography, and apparently he was a kid sitting in a car in the music video of La Isla Bonita by Madonna.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. He was also one of the like little thug guys in a James Bond movie. License to Kill.
He was also in Snatch.
He was so young.
He was in Snatch.
Yeah, that's right.
That might have been my earliest one. I think it might have been Snatch. I'd have to look at his filmography though.
It was up there. Snatch was the early one where he really stood out and had a good role.
Yeah. Okay.
And Traffic too, I think.
Hey,
Simon's turn.
Hey, LaBelle.
The third one, don't have much to say about it because I don't want to spoil anyone. They haven't seen it. But it's in a similar theme as the last one, and that's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Okay.
Which, in my opinion, is the best, or at least most honest depiction of romance on film. You know, it's like, it's not going to last, but, you know, I'd like to spend some time with you anyway.
Nice.
I've heard nothing but great things about it, and it's a movie
you haven't seen it?
I've never watched it. I don't know if part of it is just because, you know, it's like, I know it's like this love story, and as Dee knows very well, I was just complaining about that sort of thing in a discussion about Saltburn. Then I don't like romance type stories. I typically just like, they don't.
Well, it's also a sci-fi.
But yeah, I've heard it has elements of that in it. So, and I've heard it's really, really good, and that Jim Carrey is fantastic in there.
Also has a star-studded cast.
Say what?
It also has a star-studded cast.
I know the Titanic girl is in there, right?
Winslet, yeah.
Winslet.
Who else?
Oh God, what's her name? Claudia from.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Oh. Okay.
God, I'm forgetting all the actors' names. The Hulk.
Ruffalo?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo's in it.
First, I was thinking Eric Bana when you said that. That was the first name.
No. Right. I think I did the same thing.
For whatever reason, I just
Elijah
Wood.
I did the same exact thing.
Okay. Yeah. So, anything else you can share without spoiling it too much? If you don't want to spoil it,
what can I share without spoiling? There isn't really much I can say about it. That's the one I was thinking of, Tom Wilkinson. But yeah, it's just you need to watch it to really appreciate it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you talk too much about it, it will spoil it.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want it spoiled. It's not something that I've decided I would never watch. So yeah, I would like to not know.
You know what, Sin? Here we go. There's your idea for the next live stream. Films we will likely never watch. Yes.
That's a good one. I'm going to write that down.
Yep.
Films we will likely never watch. Films we wish we had never watched. Top of mind this year is going to be Saltburn.
Of course. Oh, you already know how I feel about that. So.
Dee, have you recovered from the watch party?
Oh, talk to me.
I mean, listen.
The look on his face, I can still see it at the end. Like the look on his face.
I was not prepared, but it was a great experience. Like as reactive as I am, that usually means I'm enjoying it. Like if I'm not reacting, that is usually not a good thing.
You, like Simon said, you looked traumatized.
What, the Tucker and Dale versus Evil thing, or something?
No, Talk to Me, which you have not seen yet, and I do want to. They sent me a screener for that, so I have it. So you need to watch it.
Have anybody mentioned Blade Runner 20?
Not yet.
No, this is.
No, but Denis Villeneuve's been on the list twice.
Yes, he has.
Arrival in Sicario.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to get Collins ready. If there's
all right,
to say
number
about...
3. We're at the year 2002. I was 17. I'd read about this movie, and the summary was so cool. And this was a movie where it's like a foreign, low-budget movie. And I went and seen, expecting it to be maybe less than I was hoping for, and it was more than I was hoping for. City of God.
Ah, okay.
City of God. Oh, yeah, that movie that I saw pictures of.
Yeah, I think you recently posted pictures or something of that, or something.
I would really, all the movies on this list, I feel like I would recommend people watch City of God if they haven't seen it.
It's got that actress in it from the Suicide Squad, the second one.
I think so.
She played the Resistance.
It's the one actress that I think I've seen in other movies. She is in City of God, but it's really, I don't know. It's such a good movie. It's really cool because I saw that it's about like child gangs, like teenage and child gangs in the real world on the streets of Brazil. So I was kind of expecting maybe like a cheap, like The Warriors or something. But it is so cool because it's shot like as a documentary. It's really shot to look like a documentary, and it really just makes you feel like you're there on the streets of Brazil, Rio, Sao Paulo. It's one of those, Sao Paulo and Rio. It's like a huge megalopolis. And it's the slums where you've seen pictures of, it's like on hills and all these kind of shacks all on top of each other on these hills, and the beaches nearby. And it's like they're living in this paradise that's also this crazy world of kind of lawlessness. And it's like, you know, a lot of the characters are, you know, maybe they're supposed to be like 14-ish, 14 to 16, some younger, some a little older. And it's just like, they're selling drugs. They run around with guns and shoot at each other. Like corrupt cops and stuff. Like one of the main characters trying to just be a photographer, but it shows you the lives of other. And it's just shot in the storytelling, the narrative kind of, it's almost kind of fun how, like, I can't describe the best way to put it, but like there's a narrative that is kind of bouncing around between this is going on over here. And it's like, meanwhile, with this character, this is going on over here. Almost like a childish, not a childish, but a simple, direct, like it's not trying to be too fancy, but because of the documentary style, it's some of it's shockingly violent and almost like, oh my God, because it feels real and it's kids being violent, and but it also really makes you feel like you're getting a perspective on kind of this part of the world that you never really, I myself would probably never see in person. Or have at least, and most movies don't really show you anything. They show you a much more like Hollywood tame version of that kind of life, what's going on. And City of God, I feel like it really nails it in terms of like, this is kind of like what it's like, and it takes place, I think, in the 70s, you know, a time that was there. It's based on real events and stuff.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, it's based on, so some of it's made up, some of the stuff, but it's also based on real stuff. And it's just, I can't recommend it enough, because not only it's so great, it's also really, you know, it's a foreign movie, It's South America, and it's not really very well known. It's subtitles and stuff, but I do see it highly rated a lot of the times on other various like movie lists and stuff. It is highly rated and reviewed. I feel like by those who see it, it's just not seen by enough people, in my opinion, because it's foreign. But man, it really hits hard, but it's also so playful in a way. That's what I was trying to say. It's kind of like there's a playfulness to it, and like it kind of makes you want to be there and not be there at the same time. Like it's showing you the highs and the lows, because it's not just violent and grim. There's like love story and hanging out on the beach and riding bikes and like kind of friends hanging out, but then it's mixed with like shooting at each other and selling guns and drugs and corrupt cop, and it's awesome. City of God.
It sounds so depressing. That's why I haven't ever watched it. Just the subject matter. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about it. But that's like one of those movies where I'm like, I don't think that's for me.
Well, I think the sense of fun that you see in the movie, because it's almost showing you their point of view in a way that like these kids are having fun because this is the world they know. Yeah. And they're not just sitting around.
Though. Oh my god.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's I can get if you don't want to watch that kind of thing, because it is to watch. But I that's one thing that I like about it. I think though is there's a lot of, I don't know how to say it, but a playful sense of fun about it. That it's not just focused on the other shit.
On the grim.
Yeah. So that's
the sad reality of the world.
Okay.
Of all the movies,
I know you enjoy it. You've mentioned it before. So.
It's one that the first time I saw it, I was impressed, and it's always impressed me since. I never kind of went back on rethought how good it was. It's so good. City of God.
Very good. All right. Starting the timer for D.
Let's go, D. Let's go.
All right. I've mentioned this one to you before, Stan. I don't know if it's on our watch list or not, but it should be.
Okay.
Ever After, A Cinderella Story.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I think so. We all have our experiences growing up reading certain fairy tales and things like that. And of course, I had seen, Disney's animated version. Of course, I love the version with the Rodgers and Hammerstein's version with Brandy and Whitney Houston and that star-studded cast and everything. The reason why I also love this, because that version and this one is like right next to each other for me, really on the same footing. It's just like they're kind of like opposites in the way that they handle the story. But what I love about Ever After is that it takes this, as someone again who loves history and period pieces and all that. I like how they take the fairy tale aspect of it and they ground it in something very historically, something more historically focused, and how they tie it into certain things that could have happened or might even have happened in a way that maybe wasn't just Cinderella focused. But you see these, and even some of the references that I actually get as I'm older. I like the fact that Cinderella, of course, isn't just a pushover, but there are layers to her. She's been raised by her father. This, the whole element with the stepmother and the stepsisters and how that shapes her as a person, what her relationship with the prince is, and how, of course, there are all these dynamics to their relationship other than just, the whole ball situation. And I like the fact that there are layers to the characters, like the ugly stepsisters. There's something specific that makes one ugly, and there's something specific that makes the other one kind of get shoved into the position of being perceived that way. Though even the stepmother, there's a scene that I love, and it is basically us seeing what has shaped her mindset about her stepdaughter. And you can see where she is trying there's this part of her that wants to be motherly to her and wanting to be, almost like comfort her and have this familial relationship with her. But there's also this bitterness and this anger and this resentment. And you can see that going back and forth. It also helps that I love Angelica Houston because of her role as Morticia in the Addams Family, which I also love.
Right.
So, but it was such a great performance because there were layers to it. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm just evil, oh, I'm just wicked, but you could see it very clearly, like what that was, where it came from, and then even how they tie in the fairy godmother piece, how you have characters like Leonardo da Vinci, who was doing things that seem out of the realm of reality to people. So to many people, they see him as someone who is like making magic. But yeah, and the costuming and like there's so much they do in that story, and I feel like they give it so much depth and dimension, along with the other aspects that make it such a classic story or just kind of a classic fairy tale that people enjoy. So yeah, I love this film.
Cool. This is the one with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. I started watching it and I never finished. I don't know why. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I guess I just started and then didn't and forgot about it and never came back around to it. So yeah, well, Phil, this is film and it's subjective. A lot of people love movies like The Godfather. I do not. I would probably prefer Ever After over something like The Godfather. So, and we are limited because we're only talking about 5. If this was a completely open-ended, we could go on because there are so many other movies I could have added, but we had to limit ourselves, unfortunately. So
and I won't deny that I think that The Godfather is probably a perfectly made film, but I also think there are certain films that are very, and this is not to diminish anything, but I'm just saying, but I feel like there are obvious films that you kind of go to, and I'm always a person who goes for films that aren't necessarily going to be thought of immediately, and I think it's a film that flies under the radar and just doesn't get enough love in my opinion, but I just feel like it's so effective, even in it being such a small kind of tucked away film, and I like that compared to even like with these Disney live action adaptations, you just see a different kind of lens for how we thought to adapt certain stories and fairy tales.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. I've not seen that one though.
In answer to what Carl posted, well, I have no problem picking a favorite. I have a favorite.
We know you do.
This particular subject, just for clarification again, for anybody who wasn't here at the very beginning, these aren't necessarily our favorite movies, but movies that we personally feel are perfectly done in whatever way. So,
I will say for me, it's pretty close because I'm not.
They're kind of like so when I say my favorite movie, it's the Terminator 2. It will always be So obviously these movies aren't up there, but I really, really enjoy them. I do enjoy them, and feel like they're perfect in different ways. So, all right, sorry.
Maybe we'll have to circle around and do perfect movies we don't like.
Right.
if that's even possible.
I don't have a hard time saying something is perfect if I don't like it. That's
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what will make it difficult.
It would be. That's true. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to keep it in the vein of what I had talked about before on my number 3. Something still sort of kids related, but something that adults can enjoy as well. I have always loved this movie. Ever since I saw it, I read all of the books that I could get my hands on of this particular series, and it is for the movie The Black Stallion. This is one of the most beautifully shot movies I think I've ever seen, especially when they're on the island. Oh my gosh. And I was watching some stuff about how they filmed it, and they were talking about they actually had a really small crew, especially for the island stuff, and they were talking about how they got the horse to do what it did, and the scene they did, and there was no visual effects. It was all just natural light that they had. They didn't do anything special to make it look, it was just, it's beautifully shot. They were able to tell you the story. This is another one of those movies where there's not a crap ton of dialogue. I mean, it's not completely no dialogue, but there's not a lot. There's not a ton, because the bulk of it takes place on this island, and he's not talking because he's by himself. So the story is he and this horse, they get he's on this ship with his father. He meets this horse that's there, and he kind of sort of befriends-ish the horse, and then the ship goes down, and he and the horse are the only ones left alive. And so he's having to deal with the fact that he is alone on this island, and he has lost a father, and he's scared. There's a scene where it shows him crying. That's really sad, that particular scene. And then they get rescued. They come back to, life, basically, back home in the U.S., and the horse is so fantastic that they end up being able to put it in this horse race. There was like this big horse race between the two best horses, and they get the Black Stallion entered in. And that particular scene, the horse race, especially the end, was just, that gives me chills. It's so good. The score, and just that final scene when he's crossing the finish line and he raises his hands up like that, and it's showing the scene of him on the island with the horse, and he's just like his arms out, just free, and just these lovely moments with the horse. They were so sweet. I just love this movie. I love it so much, and it's also in my top 10. So favorite movies of all time. Yeah, that's definitely just a very sweet movie. Mickey Rooney was in there, Terry Garr in there. She doesn't have a ton of appearances, and Mickey Rooney, you don't see him until the last half of the movie after he's back home. But yeah, just a lovely film, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous movie. I wish I could see that movie on the big screen. I love it.
Now that would be the day.
I would absolutely. If that movie came here, I would
so
be
far,
right there.
We've seen what? The Terminator, The Thing, and Indiana Jones.
I have not seen the Terminator on the big screen. Terminator 2, but not the Terminator.
2, but not the first one.
I would love to see the Terminator on the big screen. Mm-hmm. So that's mine.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That's my number 4.
That's cool.
Okay, Arturo.
All right, so this maybe wouldn't be a surprise, but I just thought it was really well crafted. Even though there's like that one scene that some people think is controversial, I still think this is a really well made movie, and it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember this was at the time I was getting into like his movies. And after I saw that one, I was like, oh my gosh, I like his work. And just the fact that it's set at this time where you're seeing this celebrity working in all these Hollywood productions and stuff. And just some of the funny scenes. I get that there's not a lot of action, but it actually takes its time, and then it gets to the best ending of the movie. Mm-hmm. Now, the controversial thing is probably like the whole Bruce Lee situation with that whole scene. I watched this video about that, and like, while I could get maybe nitpicking on that whole scene, I still think the entire movie is perfect.
Yeah,
just cinematic scenes, like especially when they're driving in the car, the chemistry, the character struggle, Leonardo DiCaprio throwing a fit in the trailer.
Yeah,
in the trailer,
remember your effing lines. I practiced them out now. I don't look like a goddamn practice. You're sitting like an effing baboon.
That was funny.
Yeah, that movie is awesome. I think
I know Kelly Reno. He's had a rough life. He's a trucker now. Yeah, and he got hurt too many years ago. I think he was in a really bad car wreck. He's not acting anymore. Sorry.
No, he's acting again.
Oh, is he again?
He started in 2021 doing budget movies with, I guess, a friend.
Oh, okay. So. All right. Okay, sorry,
really?
Arturo.
Because I thought it was really perfect. I actually like sitting there watching these the chemistry with the characters, but there was
just the dialogue. Yeah.
I also like how it felt like you were there at that time. 69.
Yes, exactly.
Listening to the audio, the Batman audio.
Yeah, it is like, not a period piece, but it really puts you there.
Yeah.
And like, it's awesome. Yeah.
The whole scene when they're like driving up, like in the beginning part of the movie, where they're driving up in the radio is playing the cinematic scene. I'm like, man, that's really good.
It is. Yeah.
Like that impressed me the first time.
Yeah.
That would be my number 2.
Cool.
Good one.
I asked for that on Blu-ray for Christmas. That's one of I asked for a few Blu-rays.
You don't have that? I have it.
Yeah,
I need to get it. It's one that's like it's on my to get list. So, yeah.
What was the fuss made about?
Not the ending.
Now, one of my friends kind of had a bit of a fuss about the ending, which I
love the
disagree
ending.
with him
it was
on.
Wish fulfillment. I enjoyed it so much because I was actually dreading the whole time. I was dreading that scene.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to see this. And then for whatever reason, I should have remembered this is Quentin Tarantino, and he revises history.
Yeah, no, the fuss was the whole Bruce Lee scene.
Yeah, the Bruce Lee scene.
The fact that like
he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, like Quentin Tarantino kind of disrespected him or something.
That was the sentiment, by some people. And then other people are like, no, Bruce Lee was just more for show. He wasn't necessarily a really good fighter.
Like,
I have no idea because I don't know a lot about him.
Yeah, well, see, like, I don't know much about him. So I watched this video. I even sent it to you, Sin, what were your thoughts on it?
I don't think I've seen it yet.
But this guy breaks down, like, the cons about that scene. in like the real life Bruce Lee. So I'm a little bit like mixed with it. So, but like I said, I don't know much about Bruce Lee.
Well, and also Quentin, he revises history. He makes his own history in his story.
There was a comment that literally said in that video that was criticizing that scene. It's like, I bet like if Bruce Lee was alive, he would be like, "Hey, it's just a movie."
It's just a movie. I love Bruce Lee. His posters on my wall, and I don't really have a problem with it because like how Quentin explained it is like this is a made up movie, and I just made up a character that can beat up Bruce Lee. So so that's how it is.
This is what he does. It is what he does. Yeah. He writes his own history. So,
but I don't know. Like I know he was on Joe Rogan, and when Joe Rogan brought up the question, like people like arguing about him about that. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino's like, suck a dick.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. He would say that. I could hear him saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one, Arturo. All right, Simon.
I'm gonna go get my coffee. I'll be right back. But you guys can continue.
Okay.
I'm not the only host here. Sin is as well.
All right, Simon.
All right, well, I was going to leave this one to last, but I guess I'll do it now as a counterpoint to Arturo's choice, and that is Reservoir Dogs.
Nice.
Oh,
okay.
Awesome.
I find every movie after Pulp Fiction to be very indulgent because Tarantino has a sort of a tapestry and a texture to his work, but often it's dripped over this really sort of bloated structure. But I find that Reservoir Dogs, it was just such a perfect piece of
trimmed down, like efficient.
trim. Yeah, it was economy of storytelling. You know, it was budget movie making, and it didn't do anything it didn't need to do. So it just made it for a very, very sort of lean movie with all the Tarantino texture as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great pick.
That was one of his very early ones, right?
It was his first, yeah.
His very first. That's one of the few of his that I have not seen.
Oh.
So
I think he sold the script to True Romance to get the money to make.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Tifa is screaming at Arturo because he has dared to come down here and get his coffee. She absolutely hates him.
You should watch Reservoir Dogs. That movie.
I would like to. I do.
These are watch party movies.
Yeah, that's true. We need to do some more of those, y'all. It's been so freaking busy.
There's great dialogue and just funny and dark humor and just it's got style and coolness and good story. Kind of.
Who is in that again?
Oh, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen,
Steve Buscemi, Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel, yeah. It's really good. It's really.
I believe you. I believe you.
I seen it like 14 or 15. It was one of the first R-rated movies in the early day when my R-rated veil was taken, and I saw that. I was like, oh man, this Quentin Tarantino is really cool. Like, yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I want to say. I might be wrong, but I want to say the very first Quentin Tarantino I ever saw was Jackie Brown. That was Quentin, right?
Third movie, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I think that was the very first one of his that I ever saw, and I never forgot that scene where, isn't it Robert De Niro, his character? What happens with him? What Samuel L. Jackson does to his character? It was just so brutal and just so sudden. It was like whoa. So yeah. But yeah, I like his stuff. I do want to see Reservoir Dogs. All right. No more comments on that one? Okay. All right, Colin.
No, Colin.
Oh boy. Okay.
Your turn.
Where am I? Oh, okay. 2005. Another movie I have a poster of on my wall.
Well, I can't see it because the picture's so small.
Not Star Wars.
Oh wow.
It's in my top 5.
I can see it.
Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot
Pride
the name
and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I just love that movie, and there's almost no other movies that are like that I can think that would be in my top 20 probably even. But that movie is just I loved it when it first came out, and I was thinking that sure I'll admit that Keira Knightley being attractive and beautiful helps.
That helps.
But she's in a lot of movies, and even decent movies that I've watched, and I just can't watch them again and again like I can with Pride and Prejudice. And that movie is just so good, and it's just so sweet, and I almost feel like I've said this before. I know I've talked about all these movies before, so I'm trying to like. No one remembers though. But Pride and Prejudice is it's so simple. Like nothing really dramatic happens. It's like a real simple, down to earth story. It's a romantic story, and it's just so happy and like kind of. It's like a feel good, like a happy place movie, and I like that. It's that there's no tension really, and it's just it's just the British countryside and what 1600, 1500, maybe I don't know.
I don't think it's as early as the 1500s. I thought it was like a 17 or 1800s.
Or 18 even. Yeah, something like 7. I don't know, but it feels rustic, like before lots of technology. But it's like it feels like they're happy. I mean, I know it's like they're glossing over worst parts of the culture that we don't see in that movie, but it's just they're going to dances and there's the family life at the house. I think the casting is great, not just Keira Knightley, but like Donald Sutherland and sisters, the mom. There's this one little funny guy that really makes me laugh, and it's like where they go, he marries one of her friends and they go to visit him, and he lives with Judi Dench, or like he lives on our property, and he's this little wimpy dude that's always trying to impress people, and he cracks me up. There's all this like lighthearted humor, and the direction I think is cool, and it's what really, that's what I mean, why I included it on this list besides it being a favorite movie. I feel like it just nails everything, like the production, the style, the shots, the framing, the costumes, the acting, and this simple happy story, and it just kind of like it nails it all. And it's, even though it's really simple and basic in terms of what's going on, it's just really absorbing and happy and well done, and feel like, yeah, I don't know how to fully express why I like it, but I know it's not just because Keira Knightley is attractive, but it definitely
it does help. Now, what makes this different for you from other iterations of this story? Because there have been other.
Well, I've only seen the miniseries. I haven't seen other movies of it, and I don't know if they've come out before or since. But I almost feel like, well, they can't top this. I don't want to even bother because they know it. Like I said, this is perfect. They got it perfect. So I don't know why I wouldn't watch it again. But I did watch the miniseries, and what's cool is I actually think the BBC miniseries, I could appreciate it and enjoy it, and as a different version of the same story. And some of the acting, I think, like I liked the male, and some of the acting was maybe even a little better. The casting maybe was a little better. Parts of it was good. It was good. You could kind of combine both elements of it. Great, but it just works. That's another thing. Is perfect movies. You know, it's hard to include like Lord of the Rings, or like a trilogy on here. Pride and Prejudice really works as just 2 hours long, beginning to end, and that's it. You know, it's a nice self-contained little happy world to go visit for a little while.
Cool.
I would like to piggyback off of John's question and ask, have you seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
No, I didn't even.
I think I saw that actually.
I did not. Zombies. I'm not. Well, yeah, I know. I've never saw that. I never did.
Are you not a fan, Sin?
Oh, what? Pride and Prejudice?
In Zombies. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw it. It was all right. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Sorry, Simon, what was that?
I've actually been Googling to see if there's any adaptations set in the American South, because, I mean, if there's two nouns that describe the South,
Pride
and Prejudice.
Oh, wow.
Now that's being bigoted, Simon. Let's not be that way.
I can't be bigoted. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Go in the corner.
Yeah, no, I have never seen this version of it, just because it's not necessarily the thing I would rush to. But I have seen other movies of it, at least one other, like for school or whatever, and I did like it. It's fun. It's a nice, sweet story. It's just it's sweet. Okay, Dee's turn.
So this is one of those that I think, like I said, I like to have films that fly under the radar, but I feel like there are some that are just like, no matter what you do, it's just like, well, even if it is celebrated by everyone, you just can't deny the fact that it has that status for a reason. So yeah, my next choice is going to be Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy.
I remember this movie. The royal penis is clean.
Oh my god!
I have never seen that movie.
That just always cracked me up.
Oh my gosh. I love Coming to America, and I feel like, I think when it comes to Eddie Murphy, everybody has like a certain film from him. Yeah. I mean, he has a pretty good filmography anyway. Mm-hmm. But there are so many films that you can enjoy, but this has always been my favorite. Like if someone said like, hey, you can only have one Eddie Murphy film in your collection, it has to be this one. Like I can't remember, I don't know if I was in middle school the first time I saw it, but oh my gosh, it still has me laughing to this day. And it is like, funny. I know we talk about films being star-studded, but it's like wildly star-studded. It has so many people that were like unknowns or didn't really have careers that have gone on to like blow up. And it has, and I think what I love about the comedy also and about the casting is that everyone, even the people who have like maybe like, I don't know, like one scene for like a 3-minute scene, like everybody is funny. The lady at the what is that called? Where you do the money orders.
At the Western Union?
Western Union, yeah, the lady at the Western Union, the little cameo they did, I think to tie into, I think it was the Distinguished Gentleman, the lady about the subway, like everybody who's a part of this, like big or small, like cameo, whatever, everybody is funny and everyone is memorable, and just the whole idea and the kind of the cultural disconnect of being from a place like Zamunda, even though it's not real, it's part of Africa.
Mortimer, we're back.
Trying to adjust to the reality of Queens, New York in the 80s, and the Jerry curls and
and when they're sitting on the couch and they get up and there's all these oil stains.
And it does such a great job of capturing that time also, just as far as the 80s and just the vibe. Definitely. And McDowell's and so much. It's just
the golden arches,
like the costuming, like everything. I love it. It's just there's not even much I could say because I just feel like it speaks for itself and it's just fun. John, please let's not play games because as far as
he's yanking your chain.
Clearly, because as far as I knew, there was only one Coming to America film. I heard they thought about making one and then it never happened.
It doesn't count. Bad, it doesn't exist.
It would have been nice if they made one, but I'm glad that they decided to stick with the one film. Yeah.
Did you hear that they were Beverly Hills Cop is coming to Netflix next year?
Didn't they have like a teaser or a trailer? I'm not.
Yeah, they did. I saw a little bit of it. I have not seen any of those movies. I would like to watch those movies.
Yeah, you need to, at least the first one, which I think is the best one.
Not the second one?
Well, I mean, they're all fun, but the first one, that set the stage, that introduced the character, and so that's like fresh and fun and new, and
it's funny,
actually dark too. I mean, there's a scene,
you have like a lot of those cop movies coming, like you had Lethal Weapon, you had that, and then I thought there was another one too. Well, Red Heat, I guess you could say.
Well, that's not a cop. Well, yeah, it is a buddy cop. I was thinking Red Dawn at first. Yeah.
Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch. Yeah, sure. That's a buddy cop movie. Okay. All right. That's a good one. I remember that I used to really enjoy that movie. But it's been forever since I saw it. I need to watch it with Arturo. Right. Introduce him to it. Classic.
Oh, good, John. Yeah, I didn't realize you hadn't seen it before, but yeah,
I remember.
I think I remember when the sequel came out. Like what?
Yeah, it was just a few years ago. It was, and I heard it, and I was excited about it. Then I heard it was terrible from people that have the same sort of appreciation for things that I do. So I decided no, I wasn't going to watch it.
So they don't count it.
Well, D absolutely doesn't count it, and I don't blame him. So
I don't understand what's going on. People keep saying that I'm unclear on how they were able to access said film because I haven't seen anything about it. So I don't know.
It doesn't exist. It's a myth.
Yeah, it's like that fan fiction Star Wars sequel trilogy that people keep talking about.
Sequels
exactly.
Something. Yeah, they don't exist either.
Now, man of movies. Okay, tough question.
Zamunda
or Wakanda?
That's kind of cheating because.
I don't know what Zamunda is though.
Well, that's where the character in Coming to America came from. That was the King.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't mind visiting either. I will say Wakanda probably has the edge because the technological
cool,
modern
right?
Yeah,
They
edge.
have all sorts of cool things.
They have more of a free market, more of a powerful economy.
Well, they just have like cool tech and everything, like Dee was
Right,
saying.
that's what I'm saying. Just for that alone, just to see.
And
like
all
said,
the healing
their
things that they can
economy
do,
too is
they're
like,
so technologically advanced.
Yeah, their economy there is like, woo!
All right, that's a good one. Okay. I'm gonna set the timer for myself. All right, moving on to the last round.
Woo-hoo!
And
Let's go.
This one, okay, so one of my favorite genres is horror. So this combines that, even though it's not complete like typical, but it kind of set the stage. It came way before. Very pretty groundbreaking and very interesting in the way the story was told, and that is Psycho. I think that movie is so smartly done. And the psychological tricks that he plays on you with the camera work. I was watching a video where it's talking about like the way the camera was portraying the characters as above or below or smaller or bigger. And then the birds of prey in the background when the girl and Norman Bates are talking and they're having this little discussion while they're eating. Birds of prey behind him, kind of like foreshadowing as to what is about to come. And also how very effectively Hitchcock is able to make your perception of these characters change over time. Like it's constantly evolving. You start off, you're not really super crazy about this girl because she's having an affair with this guy or whatever, and she steals money, and you're like, well, that's pretty shitty of her, you know. But you're supposed to feel like, oh, it's okay because she's just stealing it from this awful guy. But still, her conscience gets to her, and she decides she's going to return it. And then she meets her in the famous bathroom scene, which was very iconic and shocking for its time, I would imagine. This is another movie I would love to watch on the big screen. The score is fantastic.
Yes.
And it's just iconic. Everything about this movie is iconic. And this is why I think Simon and I were having a discussion. I don't remember if it was on like during the live stream or behind the scenes, but he had asked me, like, I think it was you, Simon, asked me who would I say is the best director or my favorite director or what. And I picked Alfred Hitchcock because I haven't really seen too many of his films that I outright hate. He's been very consistently solid in the way that he tells his stories. And I just appreciated the heck out of Psycho. And that's why I can't think of anything wrong with it. Okay. The scene where the character is falling down the steps as he gets killed.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I knew you were going to say that.
Okay, well, you're like, oh, that's a little. And I was thinking, how in the world did they? Like, how does one fall like that? But that's whatever. It was just a technique he was using to try to show him falling, and it was still it's something you didn't forget. I never forgot it. You don't expect the detective to get killed when he's in on the and so. Something I also didn't realize until very recently was that this was based on a book.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, I did not know that. So now I'm very curious to read it or to listen to it if it's in audio.
Same.
And the protagonist in the book, so like they also switch protagonists. You start off with her, then she gets killed. And then it's the detective. Well, he doesn't last long. And then it's the sister and the boyfriend. And then in the book, it's, eventually you figure out that the sister is the main protagonist in the end. And just the effective twists and turns that this story took and introducing you to these psychological problems that Norman Bates had that was not something that was maybe typically talked about a lot in public. In normal everyday life or even shown much in movies, and I thought they just did a really good job. And that shot of him at the end, ooh, and the skull behind his face, like the underlaying or overlaying of the skull. If you caught that, there's like a brief moment of a skull. That was creepy. So
yeah, I would say that was a unique movie.
Definitely, and very well done. Yep. So that's
you seem to like
my list.
Movies where Janet Leigh and anyone related to her gets attacked.
It just so happened that that's Janet Leigh, and her daughter followed in her footsteps.
Sin, have you seen this?
What?
Bates Motel.
Yes, I didn't finish it, but I watched like a season and a half. I really enjoyed it. I thought Vera, for whatever her last name is.
Oh, Farmiga, yeah.
Yeah, she was excellent in the role. She was actually hilarious and terrifying.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say I'm also gonna jump in on that and say like Bates Motel. I remember when it was first announced, I was like, I don't know. And then I don't know when it was, but this is when I was still like down in my college town, and I decided let me give this a shot and see. And I was like, even watching the first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, has this hooked me already? Surely this is just a fluke. And then I watched episode 2, 3, 4, 5. I was like, oh. So yes, yeah, I love it. I watched it from beginning to end.
Oh, I need to finish it.
Yeah, it was so well done. Then, if that needs to go on the watch list somehow, even if it's just for a few episodes, let me know. Because Bates Motel, and I watched it I ended up watching it, I think it was during like lockdown and all that. I was able to watch it with my mom, and she loved it too. So great show.
It's really, really good. She is so like, it's so funny because a few episodes in, you finally have her character totally pegged, and you know when something happens, you know exactly how you can't necessarily predict exactly what she's going to do, but you know the type of reaction she's going to have to whatever situation. And that's what made it a little comedic, because there were some parts was like, oh, holy shit, you know what? She's going to have a cow. Anyway, she was really good in there.
And also understanding just what, because it's subtle in a way, but you see what causes the dynamic that makes Norman what he is, because it's like the way she is as a mother, you see just how damaged she is and what that does to him as a child, you know, like,
yes, exactly. I agree. Fever Dreamland. Yes, absolutely agree.
I've heard such great things about Psycho 2. I still need to watch it.
I think Arturo, you watched that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It had the sister of that actress that played in Liar Liar.
I have no idea who you're talking.
You know the
Tilly girl. Yeah, are they sisters or cousins?
Yeah, they're sisters.
Okay.
I actually recently looked up about them, and apparently they had a bad home life.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah,
that wouldn't surprise me, because a lot of people.
Fortunately, they were able to get away from that.
I love it. Love it.
Okay, Arturo, I've gone past my time. Your turn.
Oh wait, I think the Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade are perfect movies.
Very good.
I would
say
they
are very good movies.
Okay, so the last one since Sin took 1917.
I'm sorry.
Well, this is actually another war movie that I really like. Fury.
Okay. Oh yes.
Oh, nice.
That was such a good just seeing this character, this young innocent young man, be thrown into something he's not trained for, and I'm sure this happened a lot at the time, but he's thrown in and you just see his transformation, how war just changes you like that.
Yep.
And just the characters' struggles with how they deal with stuff. It had a lot of actors in there that you would recognize. Even Clint Eastwood's son is in there.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten he was in there till we
watched it. A lot of the fight scenes were really cool.
Oh, that tank!
But they really made the machine guns really powerful.
Yeah,
in those movies. The tank battles were really good.
That one specific tank battle, really got me uptight.
The atmosphere is really good.
Yeah,
just it gives you like what's like a dark time in history, and you're like put in it.
It's a very gritty reality.
Yeah, like you're put in this gritty reality of that time. Everything's just foggy.
Yeah.
Yeah, gray.
Damp. Everything's gray.
Destruction.
You just see death everywhere.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Yeah.
And it just shows the sad reality of war, but man, it is so well done.
Agreed. Yeah. I like
It's a really good.
Yeah, I liked Fury.
Yeah, you did get around to seeing it, Colin.
I did. Oh yeah. And it was really good. And I liked the cast, and like Arturo said, the setting and the mood of being there. It's really good.
Yeah, it was just really good. And my grandmother was watching it, and
my mom.
I asked her, like, "Are you getting nervous?" She's like, "No, it's fiction."
My mom is not the most enjoyable person to watch movies with, because she makes fun of everything. So Yeah.
But then again, I'm like, but this sort of stuff did happen. This is a real war.
It was reality based. So sad.
And that final last stand was also really good.
Yep. Very good. Good movie, Arturo.
Yep.
Okie doke. Simon's turn.
I was gonna go with Requiem for a Dream because I think it's one of the best horror movies.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm gonna go with The Big Lebowski.
Okay. Yay!
Because like RoboCop before, it has amazing economy of storytelling. You're thinking, what? But it's really bloated and it's really convoluted and it's really sort of confusing. But that's the point. It's a synergy between character and script and plot because it's a stoner movie. It's meant to be a bit.
Wait, is that the scene where like they're doing something with the bowling balls?
I think there's a
okay. I never knew of that until Chainsaw Man. Because the opening has a reference to that movie.
Oh.
Man, that's awesome. That missed my list. That was like on my consideration for top 5. So yeah, that's awesome.
You haven't seen it, Arturo?
I haven't either.
Need to watch it. Oh, you both need to watch it.
No, I haven't. Because it looks like something I would be totally uninterested in. So, and people have told, people who know me have said I probably wouldn't like it.
Well,
so I believe
hey, it was that big to be in Chainsaw Man as a reference.
Well, I know that it's very, like, it has made an impact.
It's a noir detective movie set in the 90s.
Oh, it is a detective movie? I thought it was just about a bunch of losers just hanging around doing nothing.
Except the detective is a stoner.
Yeah.
Wait, is Jeff Bridges a detective?
Yeah.
I totally did not.
He isn't a detective by trade or anything, but he just kind of lands in that sort of situation where he has to figure out a situation. That's like
he's an ad hoc detective.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Just the characters are so great and so well realized, and there's such little attention to details, like little quirks, like infectious hepatitis, where like you hear a phrase and then you repeat it because you just learned it. Later on in the story. And,
okay. Is that the one where the line is just, that's like your opinion, man?
That's just like your opinion, man. Yeah.
I see that in memes a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, I almost feel like I should have had it in my top 5 just talking about, because like,
you can pretend you did.
John Goodman's character, his role, the performance is maybe my favorite performance of a character. I don't know if it's character or performance, whatever. It's like my favorite. He's so funny in that role. He nails it so well. Like, I have a shirt of him. I don't know if I've shown you. I have a shirt of John Goodman from Lebowski.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm staying. I'm finishing my coffee. You know what I'm talking about, Simon?
Mm-hmm.
And it's where like, I'm staying. I'm finishing my coffee. Like, oh man, he has so many good lines in that movie, and his character is so funny, and the movie itself is so good. So I totally agree.
Okay.
All
right.
I think Colin and I petition you to both watch it.
You have to drink it. You have to watch it drunk or high, otherwise you won't enjoy it.
That's the thing, you know.
You don't have to be.
I don't think you have to be. I think it's smart and well made. It's not like a
I know it's very highly regarded by a lot of people. Yeah.
Well acted and well shot and all that. It's about a stoner and his goofy, his crazy Vietnam War vet friend who's a little crazy, and this crazy little mystery they kind of get in just because he has the same last name as a rich guy in town.
Oh, okay.
That's basically the whole,
Okay.
And it's just so good. It's LA. It's another one where you get some LA vibes. It feels like you're in LA in that movie.
Did you like A Brother Where Art Thou?
Who you asking me?
Yeah.
It was okay. I wasn't overly impressed with it. It was all right. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't in love with it. It's nothing.
It was the original Fargo movie.
It's all right. I think I like the show better than the movie.
Okay.
To be honest.
Oh yeah.
We started watching the second season, and
we only watched the first.
We've only seen one episode, but I enjoyed it. I can tell I'm gonna like it.
I'm so excited.
I can't watch it yet.
You gotta watch it, Simon.
I can't.
It's good.
Because I told Sam that I only watch it once she watched season 3 of The Boys.
Yeah.
Holding me hostage. Okay. I see how it is.
Now it is D's turn. Right. Let's go.
Okay.
Wait, I thought it was Colin's turn.
Oh, did Colin go? Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, he has.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, my bad.
You just skipped right over poor Colin.
Sorry, Colin.
We're still doing really good on time. So.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Well.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
I'm not out of my element. I know about movies. I know things. So my favorite movie also came out. The most recent in order of these is 2015. Witness Me.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's not the sequel. It's not the sequel to Fury, but it is called Fury Road.
Oh gosh, of course.
Finn's favorite.
I knew that was gonna be in his top or his top 5 of me.
Oh dear.
I just love it so much. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I'm really hyped about it right now because I did recently finally get the Blu-ray and watch.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because the other movie's coming out.
I meant to say that first though, because the trailer just came out. So I've watched the trailer a bunch. I've rewatched the movie and some of the special features, and I just found out there's a graphic novel that George Miller wrote, the writer of the movie. So I'm gonna hopefully get that soon, and I'm just so feeling it right now. And that movie, I saw it in theaters and was blown away. And it's another one that I pretty much loved it first time I saw it. And I almost feel like every time I watch it, I appreciate it even more. It's, to me, just, that is the perfect movie. For people who like action movies, it is so good. It is so good.
I take issue with that comment.
I know that Lynn and Simon don't like it.
Bruh.
But
I just remember.
I personally... I hate sand. It's rough.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I know it's
pretty hot.
It lost me. I mean, this movie. I know. Okay. When playing those guitars and flying all out, and they were on the sticks or the big whatever the heck. I was just like,
this on the behind the scenes, they actually did that too. That wasn't CG.
It was so stupid to me.
No, that wasn't.
I was just like, my friend and I were watching that. What the hell?
It was
perfect movies. This is his perfect movie.
I know. I'm not trying to.
Colin, I got your back. It's okay. I got your back. I'm with you. We see each other. It's okay.
That movie is really. It impresses me so much from start to finish. I mean,
a lot of people like it. I know. I recognize that it's got a lot of fans. Yeah, it's very highly regarded.
The direction, and again, I think someone like Simon said, I think economy of storytelling is. I think they're able to communicate so many ideas without any dialogue, just with the shots, and the shots are all so much happens, and there's so much action, and it's so badass.
What ideas was it communicating?
Just I mean, not deep ideas, but ideas about the culture, about this
car chases
world, and
very
about
hot too.
What life was like to be in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, with how the characters would say things, or not I guess I say without dialogue, but what they were doing and the details on just the cars or the outfits, and oh man. I get a lot of it is action, but I do think that in small amounts of words, maybe, but it really felt like it was just so cool. The post-apocalypse, but it really felt like a lived-in world. I guess maybe I'm having a hard time describing.
I hope you enjoy Furiosa. I hope it's a good experience for you.
Yeah, but maybe
I doubt Finn would watch it.
I think. Well, and another thing too is the details, the raw details. It does use a little CG, Matt. It's not without, but there's so many practical effects and actual. Mm-hmm. They actually did so much of that stuff, and they built these crazy cars.
Right.
And for me, it's really just looking at the details of all the cars and the outfits and all these cool little details that I don't necessarily talk about, or but they're in the shots. And it's just something. So it's something you can just look at the stuff while you're watching. You don't even have to care about the story. You can just. It's so much going on. There's every shot's so full of stuff. But,
that's kind of a take I get with Bayonetta, the video game. It is so crazy plot wise, but it's the gameplay that counts.
I was gonna say the gameplay is. I played Bayonetta 2, and that gameplay is fast and
Yeah, like the gameplay is really awesome. It's just the story is like, what? Huh?
Well,
like
the
there was no gameplay in that crappy movie.
I was going to say the story in Fury Road is just there's a chase across and back, and that's pretty much it.
They're being chased by Glee Club.
Is in that chase, you get to find out a lot about little details of this world, this little, not the world, but this place that in a post-apocalypse. And I am so hyped for Furiosa.
I bet you are. I bet you are. It's got Anya Taylor-Joy in it, so I'm slightly interested. But I've never been super, super crazy about post-apocalyptic stuff, and I really was not crazy at all about Fury Road, if you can't tell by now. So I don't know. I don't know how much I'll really like it, and I won't trust if people say they loved it and it was absolutely amazing. I won't necessarily trust them because a lot of people love Fury Road, and I don't. Yeah. So I don't know.
When I watched it, I wasn't really enthused by it at all, but because so many people love it, I've grown to hate it.
So it's like one of those things you don't want. You're like anti-bandwagon when it comes to this. Is that what it is? Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't usually get in the bandwagon unless I guess experience it myself. I keep bringing it up. Silent Hill, like people made it like a big deal, and I was like, well, I'll play it, but I don't want to get my hopes up because you know how people blow things out of proportion.
Well, they certainly can. And then you watch something
after I played it, then I'm like, okay, I get why people like the game.
Yeah.
Well, but still, you have to go
Fury Road if you ever watch it.
We're talking about video games. D, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to start his timer.
Okay.
All right.
So my film, I've mentioned this plenty of times before, but it's just one of those films that I absolutely despised and thought just made no sense. And I was just like, how could anyone waste film on this? And then over time, it just became better and better and better and better. And it just stayed stuck in my brain. And I just kept coming back to it, And it just got better and better and better over time. And now I consider it a masterpiece. That is Mulholland Drive, directed by David Lynch.
Wow.
I love Mulholland Drive, and I never thought I could have said that because the first time I saw it, it was the most confusing, nonsensical thing I'd ever seen. But it's one of those. And there are some films that are like this, but it's just like there are some films, kind of like Arrival. It's a different kind of experience from Arrival, but it's one of those films where you watch it again, and the things that you have a completely different lens for it, and the things that are happening, and kind of putting this puzzle together. It's a neo-noir film as well, and just kind of unraveling the mystery behind what's going on, the idea of Hollywood and the dark side of that, and all the things that happen to people who have aspirations, who have goals, and find that their lives can be irreversibly upended as a result of that. So yeah, it's also, which I mean, is a positive, even though it doesn't sound like one. It is probably one of the scariest non-horror films I've ever seen because the way that they handle certain, like the scenes, the characters, the interactions, it is just dark. But it's necessary because it's highlighting the dark side of this town that is hailed, for people who want to have these careers and, see Hollywood. It's known in all these different ways, and it's showing the genuine dark, seedy underbelly that's there, and what it looks like for people who believe in it and believe in the dreams that they can achieve as a result, and what it does to people as a result of that. So I just think it's one of those films that is just so layered. It is like, and it's also surrealist, it's experimental, it's unconventional. Like I said, it's dark and creepy. But every time I come back to it, I am just so impressed by how. And I understand David Lynch is obviously not for everyone. His stuff
definitely
is out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that his films are ones that I just sit down like, oh, this is a comfort watch for me. Let's throw on some David Lynch. But it is just so impressive to me, the way this was put together. And, and just the fact that it challenges you. Some films I'm not willing to accept the challenge. And then some I feel like I can, or even if I'm not, at some point, I appreciate the fact that I've taken the challenge and I've taken the leap. So this is one of those films that I appreciate the way it has challenged me and, pushed me in the way that I see film and cinema. So it's not like a lot of films that I was really used to growing up watching. But yeah, I love it.
Okay. That's okay.
That makes me want to rewatch it because it's been a long time.
What's a film you were not you didn't want to be challenged by?
Oh gosh.
I would just like if one comes to mind. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm trying to think. Oh well, I'll say this, and I'll have to come back and watch to see if that changes. I do know Eraserhead, which he also did.
Oh, okay.
That was.
You can skip it, or you say you saw it already.
No, I've seen like bits and pieces of it. So and it was so like, what's going on? Like,
that as well.
And I understand that's probably the point. I get that that's the point, but it was just so like, that I was just like, I don't think I can deal with this. So I'm gonna have to come back another time. I know I have I'm sure there are other examples, but when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that one. I had a migraine, and I was just like, this is a lot for me. So
it was uncomfortable. It felt like it was a really, really good at making you sad and uncomfortable.
Yes.
So that a little bit, yeah. Just like, yeah.
All right,
have you seen Lost Highway?
No, I need to see that.
That's also
from
a
similar
Lynch?
era, and it's very
Lynch
reminiscent of Mulholland Drive, although completely different plot, completely different tone.
Was it done by Lynch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I don't think I'm a Lynch fan. I've never really enjoyed pretty much anything of his that I've seen. I used to like Twin Peaks back in the day, but then it just got too weird and goofy, and it just felt like he was trying to be weird and goofy, and it just didn't land with me. But I know that he certainly has a lot of fans. A lot of people really do like his work, and I know Twin Peaks is really big with some people. So, all right, well, we did this, y'all. I was watching the timer, and some went over, some went under. So we still ended up doing this in record time, I do believe, because it would be really easy to get off track. I had written down honorable mentions, which I'm just going to throw out there real quick as we wrap this up. The movie Remember with Christopher Plummer, A24 film. Happy Death Day.
You like
it? Yes.
A very recent one, Riders of Justice. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so in love with that movie. Okay, those are just honorable mentions.
Mine would have also been Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And something else. I don't know. There's a lot of movies.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, that's what was the challenge. I was gonna throw in one. I was gonna say Tenet is another one where I was just like, no, sorry.
One of those,
no,
same.
Yeah, I'm like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I refuse. Sorry.
I don't have the brain power for that.
No, please. I can't do it. But honorable mentions, and this actually would have been my number one, but then I was like, I remembered. But The Prince of Egypt, I just think that's one of those films that it has nothing to do with necessarily belief or religion. I mean, it does, but I'm just saying, like, even if you don't, I have so many people who aren't necessarily believers, but really appreciate the way that story is told, the music, the animation, just the whole scene with the plagues. Like, just it is so masterfully done, and just the way it takes that story in the Bible and then just makes it this massive epic, story with the use of animation and music. All About Eve, such great writing and such a great script and screenplay and great performances. I love throwback, my old school throwback films. Also Citizen Kane. It is a film that people don't really see it for, even though it's funny because Citizen Kane was not well received when it came out initially. So all the folks still don't like it. Like that was kind of the initial perception of it anyway. But I just appreciate not just the film techniques, because I remember watching it in film school and I was actually kind of amazed by it. Was one of those I had already heard so much about, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like this. So when I finally did see it, I guess maybe just kind of having the opposite expectation made it better. And then what it had to say, even though some people think it's simplistic, I actually like the meaning that it got to at the end of it. So those are just a few that came to mind.
Cool.
My honorable mentions would be Amazonian nymphos from outer space. Actually, guys, do not Google what space movie was released in 1992. Don't Google it. I'm telling you. If you do, it's on you.
He's trying to get us to Google it.
No, I'm not. Don't do it. What else? Amadeus. I love that.
Oh yeah, okay.
I would probably also say probably Last Crusade as another one.
Oh yeah, Indiana. Yeah, that's a wonderful.
That or Raiders of the Lost Ark
for sure. I mean, there's some that just feel like it's so obvious, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to glam on to things that were just everybody would know. Oh yes.
And then I would probably say Terminator.
Well, Terminator 2 is my favorite movie ever, obviously, but I wanted to give other movies a chance. So.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the challenge is. For me. It's like there's so many ones that are obvious ones to talk about, and then
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Look at movies and you're like, oh yeah, that movie.
Yeah.
Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, Brotherhood of the Wolf. That's a really good movie. The downside to that is the CGI on the creature. I really
but if you look past that.
But it's really good. It's really good. Okay,
The Quiet Girl is another one, but no one's seen it.
What's that?
The Quiet Girl. The Quiet Girl.
Oh, and that's on my list. I need to see that.
Yes, I think I actually have a copy of that.
I don't think you'd like it. It's very sort of just delicate, little, sentimental kind of movie, but
depends. Sometimes they hit right with me. Sometimes.
What about?
Maybe it will.
Well, there was a few I had I wanted to put something from Tarantino myself. Like I almost put a Pulp Fiction or even Kill Bill.
I was thinking Kill Bill also. Mm-hmm.
What about the new Godzilla -1?
Oh, that movie's so good, y'all.
I'm so ready to see that.
It's so good.
Is it still killing it in the box office, or did the Studio Ghibli movie beat it now?
I don't know. I'm still in the process of trying to watch that screener.
I'm gonna probably try to see it Wednesday with my friend.
Yeah, Godzilla -1 it's fun. I went in very jaded after bad experiences the night before with Silent Night and The Shift, and I was just in a foul mood, and I was so happy. I was so happy by the time. I was not.
I was gonna say, but isn't that the best when you're just down in the dumps and it's like, oh, it lifts you out of all of that?
I was so happy. I came home and made the review, and I was like, I'm so happy. It made me happy.
The acting was also good.
Yeah, it was
even though they're speaking a different language, still
that didn't matter to me at all. That movie put our Godzilla movies to shame. Yeah, it just did.
I'm not surprised.
For $15 million budget.
And I had put something on Instagram where I had done a screenshot of the newest Kong versus Godzilla trailer being released, and I was just like, oh, what interesting timing. This is right after it's announced about the record that Godzilla -1 is making.
Right.
And then they showed this, and it looks so goofy. I've seen clips of it with Godzilla running like he's a sprinter or something. It's like, what?
I haven't seen it yet,
and Kong running. It's like, it's going to suck. I already know it's going to suck. I'll probably see it just so I can...
bash it.
Yes, exactly.
Tonight, I think I might have the weirdest double feature tonight with Secret of NIMH and Mulholland Drive.
Oh, that's definitely going to be.
I don't think
contrast.
Anyone's watched those two
watch
movies.
Secret of NIMH after you watch Mulholland Drive. Probably lift
right.
yourself back up.
Right. That's probably
that was in that Godzilla.
One's Barbenheimer.
Yeah, that's my Barbenheimer.
There we go.
Personal Barbenheimer.
What were you saying, Arturo?
I was just saying that girl that played in that movie, she's, I guess you could say she's still a baby. She's only 23.
Oh, the girl who played in -1?
Yes.
The young lady? Yeah.
She's 23. I'm like, what? And the guy is 30.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't look 30.
It's really fun. It's fun. I'm not a huge Godzilla fan, but I absolutely loved it.
It's set right after. You know what's funny? Now that I think about it? It's funny how we had Oppenheimer this year, and then we have this movie that's right after the fact.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
They say nuclear technology creates superheroes in America and monsters in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Well, didn't we in the movie? I thought we. Tried to nuke Godzilla and he just got bigger.
He got bigger. Yeah, I heard that there was a reference to that, but I didn't pick up.
Yeah. The whole reason he got big was because
I knew he was supposed to. I thought that was kind of the whole thing of Godzilla. He grows bigger, but I missed that part in the movie. Putting Secret of NIMH. Yeah.
Well, do we have any closing comments? A lot of great movies. A lot of perfect movies.
I can't think of anything else to add as far as this topic goes, but I need to start getting my top worst and top best list together for closing out the year.
It's too bad nobody wants to talk about video games.
True, I know.
I might have to just like do pre-recordings and just premiere them live. That's what I'm going to have to do. I mean,
I just kind of all I really played is Fortnite and Zelda.
Oh no! No.
You should play with Aurelia sometime.
I already played recently before they left.
Have you played Baldur's Gate?
No,
I do want to play that. I heard it's really good. It actually won Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, and it's one. If I had a computer or PS5, I'd probably get it. But there's a lot of I could say that for too, though.
I've been trying to play.
I think it's got crossplay, and you can have parties up to 4. So, if you ever want to play it,
I've been getting back to Ghost of Tsushima on PS5. Has anybody played that one?
Well,
no?
You know that's not a question that I can answer. So.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, I heard they were gonna make a movie out of that.
Oh, now I'd watch the movie.
But it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, I'm going to start wrapping up this stream because I know you have to go to work soon. This was an absolutely lovely stream. Thank you so much to everyone who showed up in the comments and to my lovely guests. It was a fantastic time, as always. And I look forward to whenever we can do this again. We'll figure it out. Thank you to everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and see you sometime soon. Bye.
Bye.